Good afternoon. Shawn here with Accelerators Organization, ready for another mentor session. Got some good questions today, so let's get this thing started. Remember, after I answer your question, you're going to receive an email with a link to where I'm answering your question in the YouTube video. And you can always go to our YouTube channel at Accelerators Organization on YouTube and find every single past mentor session if you want to just watch the mentors answering questions from your peers and other small business owners, which will always bring you some additional ideas into your business. Our YouTube channel, when I show it to people out in the industry of coaching and mentoring, they are always blown away at the wealth of knowledge in the hundreds of hours of content on our YouTube channel. So the more questions you ask, the more everybody learns. Okay, here we go. My first question comes from Leanna, and Leanna says, what are strategies I can use to lower my shipping costs and streamline processes for shipping my products to customers? The background is I own a caviar and specialty food business. We just built a Shopify store and want to increase online sales. What are things you have discovered in your business that help control costs and production time when increasing online sales? Okay, I've got 3 different mentors answering this that are in your industry of shipping and e-commerce stores. One of the things that I know from one of the investments that I have in a company that does about 35 million in shipping things is everything is about setting up a great production line and really maximizing every bit of space for your boxes, and then researching all the different ways to wrap your products in bubble wrap, tape, all those different things that go in. While we want to make sure we meet the brand standards that you're setting forth for your brand, while also putting together a production line that everything lines up nice and easy and nice and perfect for the entire process. The more bulk you can order of those supplies, the more you're going to bring your cost down. So if you do have a feeling that you can go through a certain amount of product and as much as you can buy in discount, the better your price is going to be. All right, so that's probably the major thing, is setting up a production line and buying at the highest level of volume that you can get, and then researching all the different types of packaging materials that you can use that not only maintain your brand standards, which is first and foremost, but also can help you reduce cost. All right, hope that helps. All right, the next question comes from Randy, and Randy says, do you recommend postcard mailings as part of your ad campaigns? The background is I own a bowling center and do email, Facebook, and in-house advertising. Not every household uses social media, and I like to promote specials, coupons, and website and build my email list. Would you recommend using every door direct mail and target certain routes and neighborhoods? I've got a bunch of different mentors answering this one for you, Randy. I don't have a lot of experience with placing local advertising. I know that Nick with his HVAC company has a lot of experience with that. If it were me, and I heard Joel talk about this in a previous mentor session that he did over the last couple of days, is he basically was replying to somebody else about this as far as advertising. And it's a thing of, in the beginning, we want to try a lot of different things based on the amount of budget that we have. And we don't want to just do it once, because sometimes you have to get a little bit of brand awareness in front of somebody a few times before they finally pull the trigger and conduct business with you. But the more kind of think about it like fishing. The more lines you have in the water, the more you're going to see where they're biting. And once we figure out where they're biting and we find that one fishing hole, we then want to fish it even stronger. And that's kind of how it is with marketing, is we want to maybe build into our costs that we can afford and budget to put 5, 10, 15, 20% of our budget towards marketing, and then we're just going to go ahead and start putting the lines in the water and seeing where they are. Where is that? So that's something to think about. I would also, so whether that's postcards, to answer your question, or coupon mailers, or Groupon, or any and all the different opportunities for advertising out there that are in your budget, try and see which one works for you. Continue to ask some feedback of the mentors and see if we can help you with some more decisions. I've got some other mentors answering this for you that might have more experience on local advertising, but that's kind of my train of thought when it comes to just doing any type of advertising. Okay? Hope that helps. All right, the next question comes from Kristen, and Kristen says, what is the fastest, easiest thing I could do to grow my business from the stage I am in today? The background is I operate an online nutritional coaching business for strength athletes. I'm currently doing $120,000 in annual sales, and I have 4 coaches and an administrative assistant on my team. My current way of driving new business revenues through positioning myself as an authority in my niche via my podcast and social media. In 2023, I'd like to grow my business by at least 50%. To accomplish that, what are some immediate things you would recommend I do in order to reach that goal? Okay, so first off, I think that saying that you only want to add an additional 60,000 in annual sales to an entire year, I think you might be thinking a little bit small there. I'd like to understand a little bit more of why the goal is only 60 extra thousand in an entire year. And I know we're working on things like this with our personal coaching to help put together new packaging and branding and so forth. But to answer your question, I've got about 9 or 10 other mentors answering this for you. But to answer your question, it's going to be doing more than just organic word of mouth advertising. As we get your website really fine-tuned, we get your new pricing schedules, your new tiers, and all those things, I think you're going to be able to get back to putting some money into advertising and brand awareness that's going to bring you additional leads. And we'll work on what is the call to action for your leads that come through on social media advertising, and then set up a great lead intake system with your CRM. And whether it's you or your coaches taking those leads to convert, we start looking at making sure that we have that process underway. And I really think that that's what's going to, at a minimum, get you that extra 60,000. But quite frankly, Kristen, I'd like to see you setting a goal of really doubling your business next year, going from 120. The most logical amount of growth for most startup businesses would be to go from 120 to 250. That's what I would be shooting for at a minimum. So more than doubling. Okay? All right. Next question comes from Josh. And Josh says, what is the fastest, easiest thing I could do to grow my business from the stage I am in today? The background is Instify started in August and is currently projected to do under 10,000 in annual sales. We currently only have John and myself on our team, and we both have full-time jobs, so we only have time right now on nights and weekends for the business. My current way of driving new business revenue is finding good product deals and ensuring the product has under $100,000 or over $100,000 90-day bestseller rank on Amazon. In 2023, I'd like to grow the business to $1 million in sales. To accomplish this, what are some immediate things you would recommend I do in order to reach that goal? I'd specifically love to know your thoughts on how I should transition to quitting my full-time job and going all in on this business to reach the goal. How do I know when the time is right? I've got about 11 different mentors answering this for you, Josh. And as you can see, I added to your question because within the question that I have answered that I want other mentors to answer this for you, I think the number one thing for you to do in order to reach that very lofty goal of $1 million is that somebody's got to be working in the business. Like, to say that I want to build $1 million business in my spare time, that just doesn't add up. If you could accomplish that, you could probably make more money teaching people how to do that than doing your business, because I don't know of anybody who's ever built $1 million business as a side hustle. At least personally. Maybe there's somebody out there that has. Doesn't mean that it hasn't. But I've never seen or heard of that, and it would definitely be an anomaly. So my number one recommendation for you, since I know Jonathan is not going to quit his company, is that you sit down and set a goal for yourself that says, what am I waiting for? Remember this. And we've gone through this with Jonathan. He did this with Joe and several other people quitting their jobs and going into their business full time. The number one thing they always say is, I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. Mindset. That's the why. That's the reason why they didn't do it sooner. They didn't just trust the process. let's just say, for instance, you make $100,000 a year in your full-time job plus benefits, blah, blah, blah. So it's $10,000 a month, let's say. You don't have to say, well, I need to make $120,000 right now. You're just saying, I have some savings. I can float myself a certain amount. And gradually each month, as I'm working in this business full-time, I'm going to start making some cash flow in the business, hopefully within the first 30 days, 60 days for sure, 90 days, 100%. So can I float myself? And is my business partner willing to put in some cash to help float, since I'm going to be working the business full time? Can I float this business for 90 days to get some cash flow going to where that supplements my income back to what I was making in my full-time job? Hopefully the answer is yes. But in a worst case scenario, you may go 6, 9 months, and then you guys figure out that you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know how to build a business. You don't know how to learn from the people that are doing it, because we've got some people that can help you. And the worst case scenario is you burn through some savings, and now you got to go back and get a full-time job, of which there's going to be a lot of jobs available out there in the world here real soon. Okay, so at the pure definition of the term entrepreneur is to take above average risk in order to reach the goals that we have. You're dipping your toes in and saying, I want to build this $1 million business, and I just like to do it in my spare time. How can I do that? Well, you can't. At least not the one that I know of. Maybe another mentor has that option, but I think I would be setting the goal that if I want to do this, the biggest impact, the fastest and the easiest thing you could do is to quit your job and go into your business full time and go for it. Do it. Most won't, I will. You're not really giving yourself a chance to build that business when you're just saying, just put a little time into it here or there. Okay? Hope that helps. Anxious to see what the other mentors have to say about that. I have a little bit more insight because I know you and Jonathan better, but hopefully the other mentors can help with that as well. The next question comes from Robin, and Robin says, what questions would you ask a shop owner that may want to sell my art? Thank you. The background is I have a meeting with a golf pro who's going to take me around the course so I can take photographs for future paintings. I'm hoping that he would sell the golf scenes in their pro shop, give them as gifts or awards for members. But I got a bunch of mentors answering this for you, Robin. The first thing is I'm not sure what you would ask the shop owner, because I think the shop owner is going to be looking to you to say, what can you do for me? I would put my mind into, what am I going to do for that shop owner that they're not already doing? How am I going to enhance their business? Because they're already running their business. They're already hopefully making some money. I'm coming in there and I am looking for an opportunity for me to make money. So how can I help them add value to their organization? Maybe that's an increase in revenue. Maybe that's a satisfaction, whatever it might be, so that I can get my art sold. You're selling them on giving you the opportunity. So what do you have to offer, and what does that look like clearly and concisely, so that they can say, yes, I can see how that would make sense. I would be, if I was the shop owner, I would be looking to you to make a presentation of what you could do for me, and then you would ask them questions of what it would take for them to say yes. So to answer your question, what questions would I be asking the shop owner? I'd be asking them questions that would get them to a point where they say, yes, they will sell my art in the form of XYZ, this type of packaging, this type of price point, this type of refill of all that stuff. This is how we're going to handle the accounting. I would be wanting them to say yes to the opportunity that I'm looking for them to say yes to. Hope that makes sense. And I hope that helps. Okay, the next question comes from Rosalie. And Rosalie says, what are some safety precautions that I can take when going to a new prospect's house? The background is I own a full-service accounting firm, and we help small business owners with all their accounting needs. I recently started working virtually, and sometimes I meet prospects in person at their homes, and I want to be safe. I've got 3 other female mentors answering this, because I would rather see them meet you at a coffee shop, a restaurant, a hotel lobby, your office. Maybe there's some executive office suites that are centrally located to where they're located. Maybe they have a place of business. Like, I go to my bookkeeper's office they don't come to my house, and I'm a small business owner. So that would be my first line of defense, is don't go to somebody's house. The second thing is could you bring somebody with you? Maybe you can vet them through testimonials or recommendations or references of who they are. Do some Google searches, see if they've ever been convicted of something. But I remember when I was an insurance agent that I would go to some people's houses sometimes, and it was definitely uncomfortable. And I was a guy. I think that's also a business decision that you could make, that, listen, I don't feel comfortable coming to somebody's personal residence unless there's a real specific reason for it. Why can't we meet at my office? Why can't I meet at these are our business owners, right? Why can't you meet at their place of business? Could you do things remotely? There's a lot of odd people out there, and a young female going to somebody's house to do business, I would say I'd rather see you not go to somebody's house. But that would be the only thing I could think of. I carry some mace. I don't know if you want to carry a gun, if that's something that you want to do, can do, get licensed for, whatever it might be. I would certainly set up geo-tracking on your phone and let your assistant or your best friend or somebody know that you're going to somebody's house, that if you don't check in with a certain amount of time, that they should call you or they should text you. You should have a safe word, like all kinds of things like that to maybe keep yourself feeling safe. All right, next question comes from Rosalie, and Rosalie says, what is the best approach to use during a presentation of my services and the prospects have a disagreement with each other? Should I intervene? The background is I own a full-service accounting firm, and we help small business owners with their accounting needs. I did a presentation, and the prospects were not in agreement of how they want to move forward. I would like to be better prepared in the future for this situation. I've got 4 other mentors answering this for you, but the way out of conflicts and things like this is always ask questions. And there's a book called, if you'll remind me maybe in the comment section of this and tag me, hey, Shawn, would you take a picture of the book that you recommended about how to ask questions? I've got some here at my house, and I actually have some, and I'll be more than happy to give you one next week if you're here in Nashville when you're here, and remind me, I'll just give you the book. But the best way to resolve conflict is to ask questions. So if I had 2 people that were disagreeing, and both of them initially, of course, had agreed that they need some bookkeeping services, and that's why I'm there, it would depend on what they're disagreeing about. Like, are they saying to my face, I don't think she's qualified, so maybe I need to ask them, what makes you feel like I'm not qualified? What kind of references could I give you? What kind of testimonials? How could we work through that? Blah, 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 blah. I'd like to understand what the objections are, right? Yeah, I think that's the book, Shelley, Trey Gowdy's How to Ask Questions. I want to ask questions to understand where the conflict is. If they're basically having conflict of whether or not they even need a bookkeeper, then that might not be something that you could overcome. And that's something that they as business partners have to decide between themselves. If something got uncomfortable where they're like fighting in front of you, it could be, hey guys, if you don't have any more questions from me, I can see that you guys have some things to discuss. If you don't have anything from me, I'll go ahead and excuse myself. You have my information. I'll follow up with you, John, the one that's on your side maybe. I'll follow up with you, John, on Thursday afternoon, blah, blah, blah. So make sure you control the sales process, that you're going to reach out to figure out if there's any more questions, and excuse yourself, and that's okay. But if there's conflict that you can overcome, maybe it's asking some questions. But obviously that's a very sensitive situation to get in between 2 people trying to do conflict resolution, because that's not really your job. Your job is there to present your services, present your company, present yourself, answer any questions about your qualifications, your abilities, things like that. Once that's done, answer any questions of objections or what have you, and then move on. I certainly wouldn't want to start playing therapist between 2 people. Okay, the next question comes from Kristen Pitts, and Kristen says, What is the fastest, easiest thing I could do to grow my business from the stage I'm in today? The background is I'm a wholesaler in the retail industry selling golf apparel. I'm in the first year of business, launching this month of October. I'm currently at $16,000 in gross sales. My biggest holdback in driving new business is my lack of cash flow to purchase products to sell. I currently am using credit cards. My total credit limit is around $10,000. Next year, I'd like to grow my business to at least $100,000 to $500,000 in gross sales. I would really like to go after bigger retail fish such as department stores, but I'm not sure how to secure a large order without the cash to back it up. I am limiting myself to my credit limit. What are some immediate things you would recommend I do in order to reach my goals? Yeah, I've got about 11 different mentors answering this for you. One of the first things that I think can help from a cash flow perspective is getting out there and meeting with as many, I know you sell to golf shops, as many golf shops as possible. Show your repertoire of orders, find out what they would like to order, and ask for a 50% deposit. That helps you with short-term cash flow. Hopefully you have a gross margin of at least 50%. The more orders, invoices that you have from reliable customers, there are financing opportunities out there of people that will finance those invoices. You might want to talk to Dan Abate. He is really good at understanding what types of financing options are out there in the world. It's a great problem to have if you say, I just need money to buy more inventory because I have people ready to buy more product from me. That's a really easy financial solution out there in the marketplace. And Dan would be a good person I'd start with. If Dan can't help you, just let me know. What I'm not understanding is cash flow your problem, or is capital to purchase inventory to fulfill orders the problem? If capital to fulfill orders is your problem, let's get you hooked up with maybe Mark Kramer. Could be a person that could help you with alternative sources of funding. Send me an email and I'm more than happy to put you in touch with Mark Kramer, one of your mentors. He is fantastic when it comes to raising capital, but that is a great problem to have, and one that traditionally is easy to solve, especially when you have purchase orders and you just need capital to buy more inventory to fulfill orders. Okay? Hope that helps. But that's the number one thing it sounds like to me, is get more access to capital and get out there and continue to make more sales and get more orders. The next question comes from Rohit, and Rohit says, what is the fastest, easiest thing I could do to grow my business from the stage I'm in today? The background says, we sell exotic snacks and drinks from around the world that you don't get at your big box stores. These products are already made. I'm currently doing $15,000 in annual sales, and I have 3 people on my team, my brother and my friend and myself. My current way of driving new business revenue is through Skip the Dishes website and our own website. And we are getting a brick and mortar store to be completed by December, give or take. In 2023, I'd like to grow my business to $50,000 to $75,000 to accomplish that. What are some immediate things you would recommend I do in order to reach that goal? Okay, I'm the only one that's going to answer this one, Rohit, because this is a really challenging question to answer. And I know that you guys are building out this brick and mortar store. It concerns me that you guys are doing $15,000 in annual sales because that could be skewed. Like, how are 3 people, you, your brother, and your best friend, how are you guys surviving off $15,000 a year in sales? So there's a lot more dialogue. I would really recommend, and I'll tell you what, if you'll reach out to me by email, since you're an annual member of AO, I won't charge you, and we'll do a phone call, okay? Instead of you having to book a get a jail call. So send me an email or go through Shirley, and let's get you a link to get on my calendar, and let's talk about this a little more, because your situation is a little more challenging. I don't know if you have a capital problem. I don't know if it's just a wait and see problem by getting the brick and mortar store and then doing advertising. Are you in a high traffic location? There's so many variables that you have going on that I think it would be impossible for the other mentors to answer this question for you. And so why don't we have a phone call around this, and let me see if I can give you some more insight and some advice around this topic, okay? So get a hold of Shirley and tell her to get you a link to get on my calendar, and she'll get that for you, okay? All right, that's today's mentor session. I hope you guys got some value out of this. If this provoked you to ask some questions, get into the mobile app, bottom right-hand side, click the button that says Ask a Question. It'll take you to the portal and ask away. The more questions you ask, the more knowledge you're going to get from myself and the other mentors, hopefully to give you some ideas and some experience sharing to help you grow your business. Okay? Hope you have a great day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you soon. Peace out.